All right, y'all. We ready? I want y'all to let me know. Please let me know immediately if y'all hear this music once it starts playing. Change this microphone. Let me know. Do y'all hear it now? Here go. Do you hear anything? Are we coming through? Are we trying to swing? Are we um on audio tested? Have we graded? Have we tested? Unless it's not going down like that, I don't see you all right and scripted. That makes me a little concerned to have you learn. This is something that we have to do more and learn. Do y'all hear the music in the background? Does the sound come through? Do we have to do another something to make sure the beat is kind of bumping? I'm trying to get in this thing. I'm trying to see something. Word. Do y'all hear or not? Yes, no, yes, no. I know there's a crazy delay. I said so. All right, man. Y'all hear the music, but does it sound muffled? Sound muffly? No. Do y'all hear the music? I don't want to know if y'all hear me. I know y'all hear my voice. Do y'all hear the music in the background? Is it clear? Is it clear like it used to be in past shows? Does it sound muffled? Yeah, oh, it sounds muffled though. Oh, uh, well, then I have to blame this little YouTube. I don't know what they really are going through. Have I signed something? Have I signed my life away? I have to talk about this subject today. The wannabe culture sweeps down like a vulture. Nobody wants to be who they're supposed to be, but you see. Still, well, born into this life, it doesn't mean that you have to live your life trying. You might have came from humble beginnings, but that doesn't mean that you will live your whole life acting like you're sinning. I'm just saying. All right, Carol says very muffled, very muffled. Uh, uh. The voice sounds different as well. Chopper. Okay, okay. Interesting, interesting. All right, all right. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to cut it on out now. I think I don't know. I think YouTube has done something because I haven't changed anything on my board. I haven't made any adjustments. All I did was change that microphone back to one of the microphones that we were using before. So I know that since the music is off now, no, the music just stopped. So I know that since the music has stopped, then the sound is very clear. Yeah, now. So what concerns me is if somebody calls in, will y'all be able to hear their voice? Because remember last week when somebody called when Donald Mack called in, y'all could not hear his voice. Y'all couldn't hear his voice. So I'm concerned about if somebody calls into the show, will you be able to hear them speaking? Like because I have this feeling that YouTube is blocking out X. I don't know how they would do it, but it seems like the only sounds you're going to hear are my voice and whatever is on the switchboard. So let me see. All right. Here's a test right here. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. How are you? I'm okay. So did you call in to help me out to see if we could hear your voice? Okay. So all right. So Carol and Stacy, can you hear the caller on the line or does it sound like I'm just talking to myself? That's what I need to know. That's what I need to know. That oh, Carol says can't hear the caller. Yeah, they've done something. They have done yeah. That's bad, bad. That really is. Ugh. But I don't know how they can do that. How can they stop the sounds that's coming from the air from coming through, but you can hear me. How is that possible? How is that possible? Hmm. So Carol says, can't hear the caller. Wow. All right. Well, all right. We just going to go ahead and get the show started. Did you? Oh, I'm asking you if you calling in just for that specific purpose. Did you want to talk about the topic of the show by any chance? I guess that kind of answers that question. It's called the wannabe culture. But being as though the all right. The thing is, yeah, the callers won't. I mean, the people won't hear the callers. So I don't know. All right, so go ahead. You just chime in whenever you feel. So you go ahead and mute yourself. You can just jump in whenever you want to. All right. All right. All right, y'all. So I mean that I don't know what they did, but I know that they did something. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to probably just stop having music come on in the beginning of the show because I mean, what's the point if it's going to make my audio sound bad from the beginning? So new people who come to the show will think that the audio is bad, the quality of the sound is bad or whatever. And that might stop them from listening in or whatever. So tomorrow I won't start the show off with any music. We'll just start it off, from the rip. They take one thing away from us, we'll give something back to us, that they can't take away yet. All right, so let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Daily Go Getimism Show. We do this every single day, every day it rains, every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. I am your host, Sun752, aka Omar, with the and if you can't say Omar with the well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Daily Go Getimism Show all up in your area. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feel like real men and women should also. Tonight on the Daily Go Getimism Show, we are talking about the wannabe culture. The wannabe culture. What do y'all know about somebody that wants to be a wannabe? What does it take to be number one? Two is not a winner. And three, no one remembers. What does it take to be number one? Okay. The wannabe culture. And the reason that I'm calling it the wannabe culture is because it seems like nowadays anything that's negative, anything that that a whole lot of people do, regardless of how stupid, ridiculous, or crazy, or off the wall, or violent, or whatever, everything seems to be a culture now. It's almost like making it be a culture makes it legitimate. It legitimizes. It legitimizes whatever somebody is doing. Sort of like sort of is sort of liberal. It's very liberal. Like, okay, yeah, everybody might not like it. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it is your thing, and you can do your thing, baby. You can do your thing. It don't mean a thing if it don't have that swing. So the wannabe culture. When we're talking about the wannabe culture, I'm talking about a culture that exists out here of people who don't want to be who they are, people who are pretending. A lot of actors going on, and it gets out of hand, and it gets to the point where it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous for people to pretend that there's something that they really are not. Now, a little bit of pretending, a little bit of acting, a little bit of play acting is okay. as long as it's understood that it's just for play. You know, in that vein, I'm talking about skits that people are doing on social media, reels and stuff like that. We know that those things aren't real. But as you can see, sometimes we think that they are real. It's getting harder and harder for us to distinguish fiction from fact, reality from, from fiction. It's getting harder and harder. So the more intricate or the better the acting becomes, or the plots or the script becomes in these little memes and reels and videos and stuff like that, we're subliminally starting to believe that these things are real. When these videos catch fire and go viral and stuff like that, it's hard for people to accept that they're not real anymore. People are arguing and fighting and fussing and debating and unfriending each other and blocking each other and saying how messed up certain people are for believing in this stuff. So everything has a culture now, it seems. So it seems like the wannabe culture is thriving. We got the stripper culture. Stripper culture. We got the weed smoking culture. And the weed smoking culture is different from the drug culture. Please explain that to me. I know what a lot of people would say, but please, when I say explain it to me, I mean make it make sense, because it doesn't. It doesn't. Yes, they all smoke weed. Some smoke it for medicinal purposes. A very small percentage of it, I might add. The rest of the people are just getting high. But it's a culture. It's a culture. So the fact that they might smoke too much, get on your nerves, not have any money a lot of times, be derelict in their responsibilities and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. It's just a weed coaching, smoking culture. It's a culture. So you don't understand the culture. You're not part of the culture. That's why you don't respect the culture and you don't accept the things that the culture does. So same thing with drugs. Y'all not a bunch of fiends. Y'all not a bunch of dope fiends. Y'all not a bunch of crackheads. Y'all not a bunch of dope fiends, whatever. Yeah, it's just the drug culture. That many people being involved in it can't be wrong. Well, yes, it can. The majority is not always right. The majority doesn't always do the right thing. The majority does make mistakes. The majority does make mistakes plenty of times. So that's what I want to talk about tonight on the Daily Go Getimism Show. The wannabe culture. The wannabe culture. Want to be anything out here except for what you really are. And who am I to say who or what you really are? I'm not the person to say who or what you really are. But what I can do and what I can say is from my own observance. What I see. You know people, and I know people who were born into families where they have certain characteristics. Some of those characteristics are things that people follow and maybe they believe in and maybe they accept and maybe they're even proud of. And some of those things that people are born into, they don't like. And so they want to separate themselves from that. Now, I I think I think that through hard work, study, practice, you can become whatever you want to become. But you have to understand the limitations and the parameters of what you can be versus what you can't be. We talked about the other day. We talked about you came from where you came from. Like you are from where you from. You So I'm kind of piggybacking off of that. Yeah, you come from where you come from. You come from who you come from. Now we're talking about the wannabe culture for people who don't adhere, accept, believe in, or practice being who they really are. You know how many college students go into college and choose a major of study and are not ready to be whatever they picked as their major? It happens every year in every university, every college. You're gonna hear that, you're gonna see that, you're gonna witness that. And when a lot of these students choose the wrong path, what's going to happen is you're going to see them home. You're going to see them back home because the pressure, the responsibility, the course load is going to become too much for them. So you went in college with better skills in English than in math and science, but you chose engineering as your major. Your skills. I'm sorry, caller. Caller, I can hear you. Are you ready? Are you ready to speak? Okay. So what I'm going to have to do is make sure I put them on mute. I don't know if y'all can hear any scrambling and moving around or whatever the case may be. But anyway, yeah, your skill set may be in reading, writing, English skills. You're better at language arts than you may be in math and science. So it may be better for you to seek something out in the literary department because you might be a really good writer. But you want to build bridges or assemble cars or install electricity. So you said your grades were good enough. You went in for engineering. Now you got to take all of these math courses that you're not used to, quite frankly. You may have been okay in math, but to be an engineering major, you have to be excellent. You got to be great in it. You have to know your addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. You have to know your geometry. You have to know your calculus. You got to know your calculus. You got to know your trigonometry. You got to know your elementary functions. You got to know your algebra. You got to know advanced math. There's no way around it. In engineering, all of your classes are math and science, science and math, math and science, science and math, math, science, science, math. Chemistry, you got to know it. So here you are taking these science classes, here you are taking these math classes, and you are totally out of your element. You know why? Because you're going against the grain of who you really are. You're not an engineer. It doesn't mean that you can't build something, but this is not a good major for you. This is not a good fit for you. And you don't have the time or the money to spend trying to catch up to what the demands of this major is, or what the demands of this major are. You don't have that kind of time or money. You got to hit the ground running in college now. You don't have time to find yourself. You got one shot because the money that you spend on these classes is so much. By the time you spend all the way up into your junior year trying to find who you are and what you like to do, it's too late. You may be over $100,000 in debt. So you got to be sure nowadays of exactly where you want to go with this thing. All right. So that's a form of a wannabe. Here it is. You want to be an engineer. You want to be a scientist. You want to be something that sounds like something else. I went through it myself. I went through it myself in college. I went in for pre-med. That wasn't me. I was good in English. I'm the type that could win spelling bees. I can write papers. That was me. English, reading, history, sociology, that kind of stuff. That was me. Here I am taking biology 101, and biology 101 in college is crazy. Biology in high school is not hard. Biology 101, not biology 1, but biology 101, because that is the biology that the doctors, that people who want to go into the medical field have to do well in. And it's hard. I heard one of my professors say that that was the hardest course in the whole college, regardless of what your major is. It's the weed out class. That's how they find out who is qualified to get through this. Because if you get through that course, then you're going to, it's only going to get easier for you. They put the hardest part, they put the roadblock right in the beginning, your freshman year, maybe your first semester, maybe a second, doesn't matter. But then they're gonna separate the men from the boys. And it showed me right then and there, like, there was nothing else distracting me. I didn't get high or drunk, or, you know what I mean? I was clean body and I was focused. But it was hard. I was gonna mess around and get a D in that class. I'm like, I can't get a 4-credit D. And nothing is more demoralizing than failing at something when you are actually trying and undistracted. And I was. So I was like, At that young age, at 18 years old, I wasn't ready to accept that I couldn't do something. So I thought it was a fluke. I did. I thought it was a fluke. Man, there were other mitigating circumstances and factors that were involved, but that was me wanting to be something that I really wasn't. I wasn't a science student. I wasn't a medical student. But consciously, that's what I wanted to be. Wannabe culture. I found who I was and what I was good at faster. I did it in time. Back then, we didn't have social media promoting being something else that you weren't, and never admitting that you aren't what you really are. We didn't have these influences that would make you try to outright change who you are, even to people who know where you came from. We didn't have all that. So I don't know about y'all, but I study animals. I like animals. What I like about animals is that animals know who they are. They know exactly who and what they are. They don't make mistakes. You don't see cats meowing. You don't see dogs trying. I'm sorry. You don't see dogs trying to meow, and you don't see cats trying to bark. Cats are like, what's wrong with meowing? Meowing and purring is dope. All all my ancestors have purred and meowed. That's what we do. So yeah, I can hang around with dogs, but I ain't gonna be up there trying to bark with them. I ain't gonna be fetching and sitting and rolling over and all that old shit. I'm a cat. Flyer than that. Do shit when I feel like doing it. Let Fido go through all that training. That's his culture. Human beings don't accept that they can't be who they are. There's some black people who can't accept that they are black, and that there are rules that govern their behavior, in this country. They won't accept it. No, it's not really like that. We're not black. We're Americans. We are all Americans. Okay. The wannabe culture. The wannabe culture is strong because you're going to have people who come along and say, "Yeah, you're right. We are Americans. You can, you don't have to be like, the stereotypical black person." That has nothing to do with anything. It doesn't have anything to do with being stereotypical. It has everything to do with being able to find yourself and what you are, and maximize your potential with what you're working with. What's wrong with working with what you what's wrong with working with what you're working with? Working with what you have. Give it all you got. Give it all you got. Give it all you got. What's wrong with it? Because I'm sorry, I can't see anything wrong with that. Not a damn. Not a damn. Not a damn. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Daily Go Get 'Emism Show. I'm your host, Sun752, and we're talking about the wannabe culture. The wannabe culture on the Daily Go Get 'Emism Show. The wannabe culture. So you got black people who try to be white. You got white people who try to be black, but white people know. Like, look, I don't mind hanging around black people and even acting a little black. But I know when the heat gets turned up, I know who I am. And I will not hesitate to go back to where it's safe. Yes, I like niggas, but I ain't gotta be a nigga. I ain't gotta be a nigga to kick it with niggas. Here's the thing. That may be an innocent example and a safe example. But there are other examples that may not be so safe. You may have a teenager, a son, daughter, niece, nephew out here trying to be a gangster, because the gang culture out here is crazy. The gang culture. We used to talk about the gang culture, and we were only talking about the LA Crips and Bloods. Remember? Now you got Bloods and Crips all over the United States. I heard that there are even some Bloods and Crips overseas. And I'm like, for what? What do you need Bloods and Crips overseas for? Bloods and Crips do not do anything good for the community. So you have a culture of a bunch of hooligans, thugs, drug dealers, shooting, killing, fighting, selling drugs, using drugs, promoting chaos and violence. I'm sorry. The Bloods and the Crips didn't start out that way, but that's what they are now. That is the culture. So because of the influence of hip hop, social media, and things going on in the hood around the way, the pressure to be a G is strong. So your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your neighbors, your godchildren may be wrapped up in all of that gangster shit, and they weren't raised in that. They weren't born in that. They're wannabes. They are wannabes. And nothing is more tiring, distressing, demoralizing, and makes you feel more helpless than watching your child struggle to become something that they can't be. And you know that they're going to fail at it. And in the case of drugs and that gangster culture, you know that they're not going to just fail at it. They're going to die in it. And here you are sitting in the background watching this shit. Feeling helpless. You might be a liberal parent. You might be a liberal parent who believes that the good stuff in your children will finally shine through. It might after they're dead, after they're hurt, after they're crippled. It might. Nobody said that gangsters can't be good people, but gangsters don't do good things. That's not what gangsters are set up to do. That's not what they're set up to do. That's not how they get jumped in. That's not how they get respect. Their street cred doesn't lend to, helping people and being an asset to the community. That ain't what that's about. So, you know what happens when you're not a gangster and you try to be a gangster? You know what happens when you're not a gangster and you hang around real gangsters? You know what happens? Well, many of our children have found out the hard way what happens when you try to be a thug and you ain't a thug. Or when you try to be a gangster and you ain't a gangster. So all of the gangsters recognize who's a real G and who ain't. That's the problem. Wannabes really think that they fit in. They think that they fit into whatever they're doing. They like, yeah, like, look, I'm doing this thing. It's like a rush. Like, look, I'm doing this thing. Before these guys would have wanted to beat me up. Look, I'm beating up people. I'm doing it. But they can tell. They can tell this ain't you. You might have came from a 2-parent family or a good single parent family. You used to go to church. You used to get good grades in school. You used to be helpful. You used to try to avoid problems and violence and all of that kind of stuff. And maybe because you started getting bullied or pressured or, fell in with the wrong crowd or whatever, now you want to try something different. And it may be attractive to you and intriguing to you. Doesn't mean that should become you, because you can't do that. Those cats that are gangsters, they're gangsters every day because their choices are limited. They believe in what they do, and they don't think that they're going to live hard. I'm sorry, that they're going to live very long. And that's why people who are wannabe gangsters don't live very long, because they the first ones to get shot. They're the first ones to get snitched on. Because we can separate. We can sacrifice Sean. Sean ain't a real G. We just let him in because blah blah blah, his cousin, blah blah blah. But he ain't no real G. Let him take that charge. Let him take that case. He can beat it anyway. He can beat it. His mom and them, they got money for lawyers and all that kind of stuff. We ain't got it like that. We got to stay on these streets. The streets need us. That's what gangsters tell themselves. So your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your godson, goddaughter, whatever, they get sacrificed because they are not what the rest of the people that they are hanging around with are. How many of y'all know somebody that's doing serious time because they ain't want to snitch? And the reason that they probably didn't want to snitch is because they knew that they would get killed if they told. Shit, gangsters nowadays be snitching. It's okay because I'm a G. They be making statements, names all on the paperwork, thinking nobody gonna find that shit out. There ain't no honor among thieves. But yeah, you want to be a gangster. You want to be a pimp. You want to be a hoe. You want to be a whole lot of things. But the people who are involved in that stuff move a certain type of way and they think a certain type of way. And they're not trying to get out of the life that they're leading. You want to get in and out. You want to swim with the fishes. You want to blend in like a chameleon because you're a wannabe. My most famous
Example of that is Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur was not a gangster. Was not a gangster. He was not brought up to be a gangster. He was born from parents that were Black Panthers. Yeah, Black Panthers ain't gangster. They're not gangsters. They are helpful citizens who were proactive in their defense of the community. That's not gangsters don't defend the community. Gangsters hold down the block. There's a difference. There's a difference between defending your community and holding down the block. Tupac wasn't a gangster. That's why he's dead now. Because he was hanging around gangsters, bloods, talking all that MOB shit. You don't join no gang after you 20 years old. You crazy? You ain't hear Tupac talk about being no gangster until he got with Suge Knight. He went in jail talking about dear mama. You are appreciated. That kind of stuff. He was always, sort of like a community activist and things like that. But there were certain things that Tupac was not that people try to say that he was. Like Tupac was not on that black shit. People think that he was, but he really wasn't. Not for my money, he wasn't. There's a difference between working for the liberation of black people and working for the justice of black people. There's a difference. Both of them can be good things, but there's a difference. When you're working for the liberation of black people, that means that black people are all that you are concerned with. When you're looking for the justice of black people, that means, like, listen, I got a white girlfriend over here, but I want to be able to date her freely. I don't want to be demonized. I don't want to be ostracized. I don't want to be locked up and hurt just because I'm in love with a snow bunny. Snow bunny. That's my man Umar's new shit. Snow bunny. You gotta stop with the snow bunnies. Y'all know what I'm talking about? So Tupac will be alive today, except he spent the last years of his life trying to be a gangster. But see, here's one thing that gangsters understand. Gangsters understand that they're not supposed to live long because they're not living a life that is conducive to long life. They know that there's not going to be any longevity. They know that. They see all of their friends getting smoked, done in, left. They see it. From the time they've been, 12, 13 years old, they've seen their friends all die. So that's why you are OG by the time you're 25. Because the chances of you getting to that status while being active all the way, it's not the way it's supposed to go. So people martyr Tupac, and I get it. We love our celebrities, and we always try to make our celebrities into an image that we can respect. I ain't even mad at that. But a wannabe is a wannabe. And Tupac was a wannabe gangster, and that's why he's dead. You can be mad at me all you want. The facts are the facts. Tupac was a rapper and an actor, and he took the acting too far because he was an actor and a rapper who wanted to be a gangster. That's like a chicken wanting to be a duck or a goose. Yeah, they're both birds. But throw a chicken in the water and watch them and see what happens. A duck, a swan, a goose can do a lot of the things that a chicken can do. But there's certain things a chicken can't do that a duck, a swan, and a goose can do, like fly. Chickens can fly, but they can only fly a little bit. You ain't gonna see a chicken in the sky. They can't fly that high. They can't fly that far. Ducks, geese, they can fly. They could go south for the winter, things like that. Chicken can't do that. Ducks, swans, geese can swim. They have webbed feet. They don't have beaks. They have bills. They can swim. They can go in the water and come up and not be wet because the water just flows off their back. You spray a chicken with water, he gonna be soaked. At the same time, ducks ain't geese. I'm telling y'all this for a reason. Ducks and geese do a lot of the same things, but they don't talk the same. A duck quacks and a goose honks, but they both swim. They both have webbed feet, and they both have feathers where the water runs right off of their back, so they can dive under the water and all that kind of stuff. But they can't live in the water, but they can swim like hell. Ducks and geese are not the same. Ducks understand that they're not geese. Geese understand that they're not ducks. You've probably eaten duck before. You've probably had a duck dinner. You may have eaten duck for Thanksgiving before instead of a turkey. I bet you ain't never tasted goose. You ain't never tasted no goose. Hmm? Not in the United States, you haven't. You know why you never tasted goose? Because geese are protected by the government. You go ahead and kill a goose out there by the river. Let somebody see you killing a goose. Go ahead and shoot a goose like it's goose season. Hunters have duck season. There's no goose season. Geese run around here like they own the place. They waddle around here shitting on everybody. Sometimes they attack people. You better not fight them back. Punch a goose in the bill. See what happens. It's gonna be a problem. You will be arrested. Real shit. But you also can't go catch a goose, skin a goose, and cook a goose. They say your goose is cooked. Not in the United States, it ain't. So you can kind of see how the United States treats geese and what they think of geese versus ducks. Oh, a duck. Well, listen, don't go killing a whole bunch of them, but you know what I mean? You see a duck in the woods, you can go ahead and shoot them. Have your dog go and retrieve them for you. And you go ahead and have a duck dinner. But don't try that shit with a goose. Remind you of anybody? Can you relate that to society in any kind of way? Like I said, ducks and geese do a lot of the same things, but ducks ain't geese and geese ain't ducks. And you'll see if you're feeding geese and ducks, you'll see them in the same area interacting, but not by themselves. Naturally, they hunt differently. Geese eat grass, that's how they survive out there. They like fresh grass. Ducks eat more like grains and stuff like that. And whatever you feed them, if you feed the ducks. Geese too. They'll eat stuff. I used to take my daughter out there and feed them bread all, for hours and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Yeah. Remind you of anything? Geese are protected. Ducks ain't. You know that old children's story where they say the ugly duckling grew into a swan? That's just a story. It's a myth. Ducks grow into ducks. Swans are swans. Swans ain't ducks, and ducks do not grow up to be beautiful swans. That was bullshit. I'm sorry, I haven't read any of y'all comments. My bad. We talking about wannabes. What you trying to be? Yeah, we talking about wannabes. T Carey Wright asked, do you feel like you were a wannabe? I was a wannabe. I absolutely was. I wanted to be a doctor. Not necessarily because I wanted to be a doctor. I like the way it sounded. My dad did that shit to me though. From the time I was a kid, he told me that I was going to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor. I'm like, okay, whatever. But that's why it's important for you to find yourself. You have to find what it is that you want to be. You can't be what everybody wants you to be. And you also can't be what you think you can be based on what you think you like or something like that. You have to go with what your own story will dictate. You got to learn to love yourself. You got to learn to accept yourself. And I learned to do that. I had to learn how to do it because my ego was out of control. I ain't gonna have nobody running around here talking about I'm a wanna be this or wanna be that. I don't be out here biting off niggas, copying off niggas. No, I ain't with all that. I ain't with all that. So, but we all have to find ourselves. So yeah, I was a wannabe. I had to learn not to be. I had to learn to be a not to be. Stacy White, what's going on? Mia Cunningham, my brother from another mother, Norris Hill and Cal Chamberlain. Shirley Cheryl, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. All right. Boogity 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 boogity. Mia says, I wanted to be a vet and a lawyer. Love studying law. A vet and a lawyer. Wow. Talk about different ends of the spectrum. And she also says, ended up in some form of law enforcement. Happens. She also says, I see a lot of that wannabe at the job. Children whose parents did everything to keep them keep them from the streets. And the harder they try, the more their children run to the streets. It's sad as shit. And Mia says, ain't no more real gangsters. This sure ain't. Man, they soft as man, these motherfuckers is softer than that bread at Red Lobster. They softer than the bread at Red Lobster, baby. Okay. Nar says, if you're under 25, you never got live it was time. It was time to ride. You ain't got no heart, but if you over over 26 and you're still in the mix and your life ain't fixed, you're not doing it. You're not doing your part. KRS One. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Spit that. Carol Chamberlain says it's black and white to me. Mm-hmm. No, it says so geese are better protected than black people. I didn't say that. All I asked was, does it remind you of anybody? You ain't never had a goose dinner. You ain't never been in no restaurant that served goose. Not in the United States, you ain't. And you ever think about that? Like, yo, yeah, how come we never had goose? Mother Goose was protected. That's why she had all her freedom of speech to write all those nursery rhymes. But you see how they used to do Daffy Duck. Shot his bill all over his face. Mia says, damn, oh, I see what you're doing here. Ducks, geese, black and white. I ain't doing nothing. I'm chilling. We just talking. You know how we do. We talking. We talking. We talking. We talking. We talking. You know, we talking. We talking. Barbara Hill C say, what's going on? I ain't see you sneak up. You there between the lines there. I ain't see you there. That's what's up. Barbara Hill C says, plus the game goes duck, duck, goose. So it was stacked against us, huh? Damn, ooh, that's hot. It does say that shit too. Duck, duck, goose. It don't say goose, goose, duck. The goose is what you want to be. I want to go somewhere and have a goose dinner. Maybe we can go to Canada, Mexico, or something. I know everybody don't treat geese the same. Well, let's have a look here. And you can't say that they're endangered species because all them goddamn geese out there by the Schuylkill River, I'll be like, man, y'all, come on, man. You got to watch where you walk all the time. They be chasing people. Ha, 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 ha. See, ducks quack. Quack, 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 quack. Geese be ha, 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 ha. They little, with their little stringy necks. Why are geese protected by the United States? That ain't explaining why. Geese are protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty, and it is illegal to harm them, their eggs, or their nests in the United States without permission from the U.S. Fish and Wild Service. So I can go to somebody and be like, yo, these geese around my house, I want to punch one of them in the bill. They give me permission. Can we have some goose this Thanksgiving? You would think the turkey would be protected. But no, it's the goose. So are geese from Canada? Because they keep mentioning Canada about geese. Okay, wait, I found something. Here's why Canada geese are protected. Oh shit. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. Canada's goose is one of the most common species of waterfowl found in North America. They can be found in parking lots, urban parks, highways, golf courses, or even 2 feet from your house if you are close to a pond. Canadian geese damage crops, cause car accidents, and scratch people. Did y'all hear what Canadian geese damage crops, cause car accidents, scratch people? Because of that, authorities tag them as when they are also present in large numbers or flocks and amenity grasslands park, they become a nuisance because of their noise. You must wonder why they are protected. Well, keep reading and you will find out. How are Canadian geese produced? Canada geese are protected by the Migratory Birds Convention Act, created in 1917 and updated in 1994. The act contained regulations that aim to protect migratory birds, their nests, and their eggs from destruction by hunting, wood harvesting, commercialization, and Trafficking. Come on, let's get to the fucking point. It's estimated that about 500,000 Canadian geese have been killed or captured in Canada by legal hunters. The U.S. has a similar law, the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, which prohibits any person from intentionally capturing, hunting, or killing any migratory bird except under the terms of a permit issued by the Department of Interior U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. However, in some countries, such as New Zealand and Canada, geese are no longer protected and a permit is not necessary for their hunting. So you can go to Canada. Okay, reasons for protecting Canadian geese. They are migratory birds. For their breeding, Canada geese fly across country to find suitable locations for nesting and hatching. During winter, Canadian geese travel long distances between countries to seek shelter from the winter. Blah, blah, blah. 2, pollination of plants and pest control. Canadian geese are grazers and therefore active pollinators. Okay, so you're saying they're good for flowers. Okay. 3, food sources. The world is one big food chain that progresses from herbivores to carnivores to omnivores and finally decomposers. As grazers, Canadian geese are in the first level of the food chain and are necessary food sources for members of other levels. 4, recreational watching. Do you get excited when you see a flock of birds in a V shape flying across your yard? If your answer is yes, you understand why some people watch birds as a recreation. Therefore, it is important to protect birds such as Canadian geese. Get the fuck out of here. 5, bird rights. Just like humans, animals should have rights. This is why the Humane Society of the United States created a guide to help people get the economy. I hope y'all satisfied with that. I'm not reading the rest of that mess. Just know that in the United States, they like geese. You know what I mean? Okay. Carol says you better not hit one while driving either. Barbara Hill CC says, plus pigeons are doves. This pigeons and doves are the same bird, the same exact bird. Pigeons are dirty and doves are pure. Ain't that some shit? So it should have been when pigeons cry. Dun, 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 dun. Dig, if you will, a pigeon eating peanuts out in the yard. Dirt on your body covers me. Can you, my darling? Can you picture this? TK Wright says they got attitudes. Nard says you got me thinking about the Yin Yang twins. Barbara Hill C says, fun fact, goose is all dark meat. Looky there. Ooh, so yeah, I gotta get me some goose. I gotta get me some goose. All right, y'all, we gotta do these birthday shout outs. You know what I mean? We gotta do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious February 15th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Mia Claxton, happy birthday to you. And also Stacy McMillan, turning 56 years old today. And my girl, Colleen Johnson, go get her, Colleen, turning 61 years old today. And Angela Shaw, turning 56 years old today. And Shay Clark, happy birthday to you. And Judith Marsha Jones, turning 55 years old today. And she's raising money for Autism Speaks. Do the damn thing, Judith. And also Louisiana Destin, turning 33 years old today. And Chenizra Cookie Grant, happy birthday to you. And my girl Pamela Grant, go get her. Pamela, how cool you? Turning 62 years old today. And Anissa Miller Young, happy birthday to you. And last but not least, my cuz by marriage, Mary Hatterson, happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to all y'all. And anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious February 15th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up, turn up. I hope that today finds you all good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. But don't turn them too loud. Just turn them loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember the wannabe culture. Listen, there's nothing wrong with you being who you really are, but you have to find who you are first. You have to discover who you are, then you have to accept who you are, and then you can go on being who you are. But as long as you want to be something else, the opposite or other than who you really are, you're going to have a hard time. And you know, one thing I didn't talk about on this show that I think I need to address before I get on up out of here, because this is real. You know, when you get into an argument with a person, when they get tired of your shit, when you have upset a person, they will let you know how much of a wannabe you have been. People will let you eat. They will let you do your thing. They will let you pretend. They will let you live as long as you don't start getting on their nerves, as long as you don't start running your mouth, as long as you don't start getting in the way. But as soon as you get a little big for your britches and you start running your mouth and acting like glory is all a god and trying to pretend that you really are what you've been faking and fronting and pretending to be, that's when somebody's going to let you know, you fake ass wanna be this, that, and the third. You ain't really real, and they're going to put all your shit out there. And as discouraging as that may be, and as wrong as it may seem at the time, just understand that somebody is always watching you. They know where you came from. They can tell if your triangle ass should be trying to fit inside of this octagon or this circle or this square or this pentagon or this hexagon. They know when you don't fit right. But just like a jigsaw puzzle, some of the pieces fit even though they're not in the right place. You know how you force. If you've ever tried to force a piece to fit in a jigsaw puzzle because you got tired of dealing with this 1,000 piece thing, then you know what I'm talking about. So try to find yourself and be happy with who you are, because more than likely, 9 times out of 10, who you are is more than good enough, and it's hard to duplicate that. Just something to think about. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. I love y'all right back to life. Please make sure that y'all check out the Daily Go Get a Mism show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. because we gonna be back. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Our blog talk, we gonna get you out of here. Yeah. You can't be who you're not, but you gonna try to do it. Give it a shot. But if not like that, and you know how it goes. Peace to all y'all, each and every one of y'all. I'm down with all y'all because I want to be that. And the next day, we're going to do the same way. I'm down with y'all, even if you try to sell me Amway. It's the scam way, the multimedia way, I mean, multi-level marketing way. Let me get up out of here, man. I'll holler at y'all later, man.